Out, folks, we are here for another live police canine breakdown review. We got three juicy ones for you. Three juicy ones. We got Thanos over here hanging out, ready to enjoy the party himself. I warn you in advance, viewer discretion is advised. Just like cops, baby, this is the real deal. You're going to see some police canine deployments. You're going to see 3 bites at the end. And what we're really looking for is just to show you how dangerous, how scary it can be behind the leash when you're searching for suspects that could be armed. They're running from the police. We don't know what weapons they have on them. And anyways, you're going to get a little glimpse kind of behind the leash, what it's like. And this particular one is a great grouping because in this one, they all get found, they all get bit, and they all cry for their mamas. So it happens sometimes. They're big, bad, and tough until the police dog takes a literal bite out of crime. So we're going to get right into the first one. This first one takes place, let's see, where? In Washington. So I'm not sure where in Washington, maybe Seattle. I think it is Seattle. Let's get into it. These officers do a great one. It's a little bit longer, but we'll fast track through it. And you'll see these officers really doing some great tactics. Always room for improvement, that's for sure. If we see anything, we'll point it out. But overall, a great job across the board. And these, by the way, only get better. This is the most boring one. The next two are juicy. So this, by the way, this is what I do in my spare time. So y'all are just seeing what I would do normally anyways. And I just like sharing this stuff with you. So go ahead and post in the comments anyways. Give us a shout out. Share this with your mama and your auntie and your daddy and everybody else you know. Let them know to come on over to the second channel to see some of these incredible police canine breakdowns. All right, we're ready to roll? All right, we got Spider behind the camera. Give some shout out and some love to Spider. He's the tech guy that makes it happen. Joe Rogan's got Jamie. We got Spider. We got one better. So this is a hit and run, but pay attention. The guy that did the hit and run pulled a gun on the bystanders. So they know this guy is armed.
Last seen jumping somewhere between these two houses. Don't know if it's north or south. Another neighbor said that a guy jumped 1823. Cow spell that way, so you could be kind of going at an angle where your tracking team.
So got the SWAT guys already on scene. This is Spokane, Washington. I misspoke. It's not Seattle. So Spokane, Washington's finest.
Shirt, not a hoodie, blue jeans, black snapback hat. You want to check that? Is this your friend?
I don't know what they're feeding these boys over there. This canine handler is short, or these are some bruisers, man. These SWAT guys
35 minutes
are not playing around.
If he's in the perimeter, he's
this
good.
guy over here.
Him.
I don't know if he's a sergeant or what, but he's giving this canine guy a hard time. Like, man, we've been here for 45 minutes. What took you so long? Let's go.
K-18, did you say
I don't like rushing the canine guy. There's no rush. Now, listen closely. He's got a little Celine Dion playing while he was running code to this call. I always found it funny what police officers would listen to while they're out on patrol. I knew one guy that had a special disc when he was in a car chase. He would go ahead and, press play or hit that MP3 player or whatever it was back in the day to listen to his favorite soundtrack while he was running code to a call or in a car chase. You'd be surprised what people's musical choices. Some people want like rock and roll to get them fueled up for the shift ahead, and other folks are putting like Celine Dion and give me some other names of some soothing music. Maybe some Kenny G.
Attention the area, Spokane Police K-9, suspect being tracked by a police dog. You're under arrest. When he finds you, he may bite you. You need to give up now. Citizens, stay in your homes.
You're going to hear him do these canine announcements. I think they leave a lot to be desired. He's doing them, but he's doing them just to do them because he's talking like this, and maybe he didn't even hear what he's saying because the dog's barking. So that's the only thing I'm gonna kind of knock him for.
So he picks it up and then go from there. Attention in the area, Spokane
Trying to figure out which way they're going to go.
Suspect been tracked by police dogs. Find you.
Do me a favor.
You are under arrest. You need to give up now.
Like, who's he saying the announcements to? Give up now. Give up now. Hey, make sure the audio mix is good. They're not too loud, or I'm not too loud or quiet. So I believe this is a German Shepherd, but if I remember correctly, this dog might have a touch of Malinois in him. It's not unusual to have these hybrid dogs, or these cross breeds, if you will. Best of both worlds. When we get a better, closer look, you guys post in the comments. Do you think this is a German Shepherd, or might it have a touch of Malinois in it? Does it make a difference? No.
If we want to go to the alley, if they confirm it's the alley, we'll just pop back around because we ain't climbing this fence. Too much of a pain. Come here.
You kick that fence open pretty easy, though. By the way, when police are searching through backyards, if they do damage to property, you know, they usually fill out a little card, you get it replaced.
Here's a cut right here.
It's no problem. Sometimes
Leave it.
they gotta bust through something to handle business. Don't get mad. It's either that or they could just leave an armed bad guy in your backyard because they were afraid to kick your fence open.
This is that yard here.
So what's going to be cool to watch is really paying attention, and I'll try to get the quality up. I feel like maybe it's not as high as it could be. That's as high as it's going to be. Just pay attention to the dog. We're looking at really his head and his ears. This dog, first and foremost, is a locating tool. Yes, they can apprehend. But why do they have the dog out right now? Why is SWAT waiting 45 minutes for him to show up? Because this dog can use his nose to find the bad guy. That much faster, potentially that much safer.
Leave it. Leave it.
We're distracted by the other dog.
Hold here for a second, yeah. Let's push back just a little bit. Can you get your dog inside, please?
Now, what ends up happening here in just a moment is they're going to pull up on a shed, because if you pay attention to the dog's going to start to give what we would call an indication, not a full alert, but an indication that he is picking up on the odor of the bad guy. And that's not always a bad guy. It could be, it depends how your dog's trained. Sometimes they'll do the same for it's a cat or a raccoon, sometimes another dog. But generally speaking, we're looking for this dog to let us know when we're getting close to the bad guy. And you're going to see some of those changes of behavior.
Put your hands up right now. Hands up.
I live here.
You do? Okay. We're going to come.
So a little bit of a false alarm.
That was weird.
Yeah.
So the dog's already in a bit of odor. Now the question is it the odor of the guy that lives there? You know, who says he lives there? By the way, we come across bad guys all the time hiding in people's backyards, in their homes. We've had guys break into a home after running from the police, get naked, start taking a shower, and then you bring the dog in on them because the dog tracked you right to them, and they're pretending like they live there. That's happened many a time. Now, the dog's in odor and starts biting anything and everything in its path. Why is that? Sometimes that odor spills out kind of like a smoke. Right? If you can imagine, there's a bad guy in this shed right now, and it's just filling up with the odor. Well, that odor is kind of like smoke, if you can visualize that. If there was a smoke bomb going off in a big enough one for long enough, that smoke, that odor would be seeping out of the crevices, seeping out of the roof, the seams, the doors. And then wherever that smoke kind of hits, the dog's mostly using, see, he just looked at the backup like, is it you? So right now there's a lot of odor coming out of that door. And we're just going to keep a close eye on what ends up happening here. It gets a little hairy here.
Inside the shed, Spokane Police K-9. If you're inside, you need to make yourself known. The shed's going to be searched by a police dog. When he finds you, he may bite you.
This is a cool look at the dog right there. My best guess is it's a, you know, half and half, or 75% shepherd, maybe a touch of Malinois in there. Now, what's funny, just watch what happens when this dog goes in.
Leave it.
He's got him. He's got him. He's got him. No, he doesn't. He's just got some clothes.
You're killing me right now, buddy.
You can hear the handler. He's getting frustrated with the dog. It happens, man, but typically the dogs only do that when there's a ton of odor. So right now, I'd be having a big old pucker factor. Dog just keep wanting to bite anything and everything with what he believes to have human odor on it. So again, if that bad guy's hiding in there, dog's just hit with a wall of odor. Ah, and he goes, bad guy's in here. They all but close their eyes and just tag anything that's painted with that odor. That's where backups can get bit. That's where random things get bit. You're going to send them in again. Dog is definitely amped up.
Revere. Leave it, Revere. Good boy. Leave it, Revere. Good boy.
He could put the dog in completely off leash, but that's really a handler's choice. There's pros and cons to it. Leaving him on leash, you're able, let's say he did bite the guy, you'd be able to pull the dog and the guy out. Leaving the leash on, it could get hung up.
Nah, just leave the mandol right now.
The bad guy could also use the leash to hurt your dog, get a hold of your dog, etc.
Find that guy.
It's never just an easy choice whether you go on or off leash. In this particular case, this shed's filled to the brim with just a bunch of crap. And this guy's now had almost an hour with which to hide and conceal himself.
Just keep our...
Leave it, Revere.
So he keeps sending the dog in, and every time the dog goes in, it's like find something else to bite and pull out, because the dog's also getting frustrated.
Leave it.
So when these dogs go in there at any moment, you can expect to hear, boom, a shot go off.
All right, leave it.
Or,
Revere. Revere,
a little
find him.
tense. Or the guy to all of a sudden start yelling and screaming. And you would think, man, if you're hiding in there and the dog's coming in,
Revere.
and this is going to come in later, that's kind of what has to show. Look at him, he's got some underwear now. You would think
Try to throw him in one more
that the
time
bad
there,
guy,
but again, all we're hitting on is every...
you would think the bad guy knows the dog's there and he would
I don't know if it's gonna be
just give up. Man, these guys will wait to the last second and then some. Like they'll just like, no, the dog won't find me. My hiding spot's so good. So I'll fast track a little bit. This is what ends up happening. I'm about 99% sure the bad guy was hiding in that shed. They actually got calls that the bad guy was hiding in the shed. That's why they're searching the shed. That's why the dog is tagging anything and everything in this shed. But the guy's no longer in the shed. I don't know why, but he ended up saying this is not a good spot for me, and he goes somewhere else. So I'll give you a glimpse of what's inside this shed, but imagine having to go in here and look for a guy who, again, armed with a gun. Remember, this guy did a hit and run, and he's armed with a firearm. Or he pointed it at people. So we don't know if this guy is got a warrant. He could be a murder suspect. We have no idea. But talk about this stuff. Well, this is our second channel. We can curse a little bit. This is a shit show. This is not fun. This is where you kind of go like, man, I don't get paid enough to go into that shed.
No.
Spiders,
Go deep.
rats, snakes,
Good
especially
boy.
spiders, man, cockroaches, and of course bad guys with guns. So it's not a fun, pleasant place to be. And if this was Miami, some parts of Miami, you would have human excrement on the ground. If this is a place where drug addicts would go to hang out, condoms, needles. In this case, it's just somebody's,
You see deep back there, Paul.
not very organized
There's a
shed.
ledge that's like a...
So we'll fast track a little bit. He is not in this shed. I just want to save you some time. They finally search the shed and they realize, oh, the guy's not here. And now they pull out and they start searching. Just a few minutes later.
Suspect being tracked by police.
Again.
When he finds you, he'll bite you. Give up now. Leave it.
We got to hear these announcements, bro. Tell me what's wrong with these announcements. Post in the comments below what you think about these here announcements. I don't know what their protocol is. I'll make fun where I can. He's already given the announcements before he started, which we heard were less than desirable. Now he's giving these announcements in the alleyway, but you just let me know what you think of these announcements, bro. Again, this is the only thing I'm going to crank this guy for. It's hysterical. Spider, you let me know, okay? About 5-10 seconds here. You're going to hear these.
Attention area, Spokane Police Canine. Suspect being tracked by a police dog. When he finds you, he'll bite you. Give up now. Leave it.
I have no idea what he said,
right now.
and I'm wearing headphones.
Stop.
Let's try it again.
He'll bite you. Give up now. Leave it. Area, Spokane Police Canine. Suspect being tracked by a police dog. When he finds you, he'll bite you. Give up now. Leave it.
Now look, there ain't no way in the world anyone could have heard that. Sometimes though, we'll use those commands to get the dog. Let's just assume that. He is not giving those commands for anyone to hear and give up. Again, I don't know what the protocol is. Maybe he doesn't need, let me just go with that. We literally just dropped a podcast on this channel 2 days ago. It's available. Maybe someone can tag it here. In that podcast, we actually speak with a canine legal expert who travels the country instructing police officers on best practices, best legal practices to keep them out of trouble. And what's interesting is the conversation about whether or not you should give commands when you deploy your police dog. Do you have to? What should those commands exactly say? How many times should you say them? How loud, you have to do it on a PA, and every agency kind of adopts different practices because they're in different states and for all these different reasons. In this case, the guy's armed. Back in the city of Miami, and again, I don't know if things have changed, if you believe the suspect is armed and you believe that announcing yourself, especially multiple times, will give away your position and basically pose a higher risk to you, then you have, as long as it's reasonable, you do not need to make announcements. However, the counter argument is the other 99% of the time you make announcements, you make them very specific in 3 different languages, right? So English, Spanish, and Creole, because of the large Latin and Haitian population we have in South Florida. We're going to give those commands loud and clear and give the person an opportunity to give up. Now, what's funny is he's giving those commands, but there ain't, I don't even think the dog can hear him. I have no idea. He's like whispering them almost. So my thought is he's only saying them just loud enough to kind of remind the dog what we're doing. Sometimes those commands end up basically becoming the get ready and go search command for the dog. Or he's just going through the motions. Either way, I'm going to use his commands to get back into this. We're going to get back into this video right now, and let's go. Here we go. So get ready. Now it's going to get juicy, baby.
Really hurting me right now. Hey, Stopa. Stopa, find that guy.
We'll have a good time with those commands.
Leave it, Stopa.
Now the dog hits odor here, so watch him. My guess, maybe the guy went from the shed and cut into this carport. See how the dog turned in there? And watch his head kick up. That's a little bit of odor there, potentially. Look at that. See, he's putting his head up on the car. So the guy could have walked through there. And imagine if I walked through there with like a flare or a smoke bomb. There could still be some of that. You might smell the sulfur from the flare. You might see a little bit of residual smoke. That's what the odor's doing. It's hanging out. Even though you can't see it, it's just hanging out. Or, again, it could just be a neighbor was there. Now watch again closely. This is where it gets juicy. Did you see, watch this? I'm just going to back it up. I don't want to ruin it for you again. Dog's head goes from down tracking. For those of you who are like into dogs, watch the dog's head kick up. Watch his ears like target lock. Like when we say use those ears as if you were aiming down a firearm, like the rear sights of a firearm and the nose is the front sight. Watch the dog's change of behavior. Spider, let me know if you see it. It happens right after I press play.
Sure.
You see it right there? See that dog climbing? That's what we call, oh yeah, and you see his head's back and forth.
Anybody in this area, make yourself known.
Officer's choking up on his leash. He's actually trying not to have to bite the guy. He doesn't know what's around that corner. That dog is jacked, baby, pulling hard, hard, hard on the leash.
Can't even tell what's back here and let him go.
I was gonna, Gino, going around to see.
Hey, right here.
Very tense.
Here.
Can't even get his dog to recall. Why? Why can he not get his dog back? About to find out.
Hey, right here.
He's still breathing, so it doesn't sound like he's biting anything. Listen, all you can do is listen.
Let me see your hands. What has he got in there? It looks like a gene right there.
He thinks he sees genes material. He can't see a person.
Let me see your hands. We got contact here.
Now we got a bite.
Good boy. Fuss, fuss, get your hands out.
Now we got a bite.
Keep your hands up. You're going to get shot. You understand? Spokane Police.
Fuss him, fuss, fuss. Good boy, fuss that guy.
Just another camera angle of the guy coming in to back up to help out. But they're in a predicament because the guy won't show his hands. They can't get to where he is. And they can't quite get the guy to come to them. So they're waiting for officers to come around the other side.
Let me go first.
Again, the guy was armed.
Right here.
We can only assume he's still armed. Remember, this is the spot where the dog was kind of alerting a little bit. Isn't that cool? Maybe the guy ran right through there. A little bit of that odor.
That's a good
They got the
second dog?
No, this is the main dog. They've just pulled him off the bite.
18, this is our suspect.
But you see where the backup came into the yard to where the bad guy was? He went right through that same carport. So here's our boy.
That ball cap says that was part of the description.
Okay.
He's got
Yep.
some sort of knife or tool right there. On
So pretty cool, like fairly textbook search. It's sometimes very, very boring, and then all of a sudden you turn the corner and it's on like Donkey Kong. Officers did a great job. It's so nice to have those SWAT backups. No, we don't always get to have SWAT backup. Again, every agency is different. In this case, maybe they always deploy with SWAT, or in this case, because the guy pointed a gun at people. So we know we're going after an armed offender, and we're not going to play games. Dog did excellent, by the way. I'm going to tell you something else. One more thing. Did you notice anything else? Post in the comments right now. What was different about this dog? What was missing from the equation? What do a lot of dogs do, especially when they're in high drive and they're excited?
Oh yeah, it's one of the things that's why I felt this video was a little weird to me.
Talk to me. What was missing? Like, what do you feel like, oh, why didn't the dog do what?
I'll probably give it a few seconds, but I heard no audibles.
Yeah, no barking.
No barking.
Do you know why this dog's not barking?
I feel like it's because the guy's like on T. Like, it's so chill that's the vibe that it gave me.
Could be. Now, they could have trained the dog to be quiet, which is more what Special Forces does. They do not like dogs that bark at all. They want stealth. Sometimes we get hand-me-downs from Special Forces where dogs are like 90% quiet, 10% bark. They don't want that. They need 100% quiet. And we'll take them 90-10. But generally speaking, police dogs, we want them fairly vocal. Now, he was vocal in the beginning, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right? He was giving the announcements, and the dog was barking so loud you couldn't even hear the announcements. So I'm going to tell you my personal opinion, my professional opinion, why this dog wasn't barking, even when he knew the bad guy was right there, even when he was hit with all that odor. You want to know why, Spider?
Why?
This dog's an assassin. This dog is experienced. This dog has street bites. And this dog has learned through training, right or wrong, it just happens. The more veteran dogs learn sometimes that if they bark, the game ends. The training session ends, because a lot of the training is not always end in a bite. It's, you hide a bad guy up in a tree or wherever, in a shed, and once the dog barks, the bad guy kind of presents himself like, yeah, you found me. And then the scenario ends and the dog learns, damn, man, when I bark, I don't get my bite. So what they learn to do is they try to be stealthy little a-holes, and they will try to sneak in a bite when they can, right?
Yeah.
So now, mind you, had he held the dog back long enough, but dude, that dog, you could hear at some point when that dog went through the gate, he had to be inches from the guy, and rather than bark, he's like, oh, just let me get a little taste before anybody knows that I know that he's there. So little assassins, you got to watch out for them. It's not a bad thing. Like, more power to you.
Yeah,
good for you,
that tracks
dog.
perfectly now that I think about it, because when I see these like hunting breeds, they're usually in this very quiet, like slow stalk to get to their prey, basically. I can imagine that these more experienced like canines will do the same thing.
Yeah, and again, we usually train them to bark, right? And we get that natural response out of them, what we would call a full alert. And then they learn through their own, because these dogs are damn smart. If I don't bark and I can get to the bad guy before letting dad know that he's there, maybe I'll get a free bite. And I think that's exactly what's going on here. Because you notice, once that search started, when he was near the shed, he didn't bark, but he bit the crap out of those clothes. Right? He didn't bark when he was inches from the guy, but you saw the change of behavior. He was on. He's like, hey, Dad, there's nothing going on over here, but if you don't mind, I'm just going to go over here and check it out. And well, he checked it out. So he did a great job, but enough there. Now we're going to get into a real juicy one. I don't want to give away, pull off this, let me know when I can, so I can load up the next one. So great job, Spokane, man. So fun to watch.
I can only imagine what that's like for the perp in that situation. Like a quiet, all of a sudden you're getting bit on the leg.
Yep.
Like, what the hell's going on here?
Yep.
On February 7th.
So here we go. Now, this one I got to warn y'all. All of these are warning. This one, yes, the bite's definitely more serious, and the guy definitely is screaming for mama. Not atypical, right? These hard-ass criminals, bad dudes. Sometimes, man, when they get bit, that's all she wrote. And that's part of it. So it's going to be audibly a little disturbing when this dog finds the bad guy. It's going to happen a lot quicker. But the other thing is, the commentary is hysterical. Whoever this guy is, and you can see it, I think when we're playing, you'll see the watermark. Go check out the channel. It is funny as hell. A couple of choice commentary. So let's get into it. We ready for it?
Yep.
All right. So the intro will tell you where this is and when this happens. This is February 2023, so still pretty fresh.
On February 7th, 2023, officers with the Baytown Police Department managed to track down a stolen
Baytown.
car. After a quick chase, 3 morons jumped out and ran like greyhounds chasing a rabbit. Unfortunately for
3
them,
morons.
the police had an actual dog that managed to track down the criminals for some swift justice.
Put your hands up! Put your hands up! Get them up! Hands up! Get them up! Nothing in your hands! Come on! Game!
Again, I warned y'all, it's going to be juicy. We are in no rush to remove the dog until we have this guy and is detained as possible. If that means we can put handcuffs all the way on, which it looks like they're doing, that's exactly what we're going to do. Now, as soon as those handcuffs came on, dog's coming off. Pretty textbook. He's still asking for the dog to come off, but the dog's off. Now, some of you may feel bad for my boy. Well, don't do drugs. Don't steal people's car. Don't run from the police in a high-speed pursuit. Don't run through people's backyards and hide in their garage or carport. Imagine you live in that house, and this guy, for sure career criminal, is hiding in your garage. Thank God the police dog found him. There you go. And trust me, this guy gave announcements. Now he's bleeding pretty good from his bicep area, so he got a nice bicep bite. I like this dog. Same thing. You didn't hear that dog bark much, right? He just went in for it. And my favorite part with dogs is the change of behavior. When did the dog let the handler know we're danger close? It's what we call a proximity alert. It occurred. The handler, and we see it a lot, this is what we always teach and preach in our tactical tracking classes, is not rush in. Don't let the dog just drag you right up to the bad guy. But it happens. This is a bad day for my boy.
Let's go. Let's go.
in that car?
Oh, shit. Oh, please. It hurts so bad.
Hey, man.
Hey, I'm being serious.
I know, we're
I'm
getting
being
you to a car.
serious, man. What the fuck?
We're getting you a car.
What?
He's like throwing it in as he's going back to the police car.
What?
He's like, oh, I'm being serious. Like, obviously, at this point, he just got bit by a canine.
The blood you see on the officer is coming from. He can see his arm. He can see the bite in the reflection of it. He just looked at it. He goes, oh, man, I'm all messed up.
Guy in that one? Is there some...
I need medical right here.
Here, come over here and sit on the curb. Come over here and sit on the curb. Back over here and sit on the curb. Sit on the curb. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Hey, man.
It hurts so bad.
What's your name?
Mind you, this guy had plenty of opportunity to give up.
Listen to me. What's your name?
Plenty of opportunity.
What's your name? Hey, listen to me. Take some breaths.
It hurts.
Take a breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. In through your nose, out through your mouth.
You know, water, please.
Now, this doesn't end here. You might say, oh, you got him in custody. We're just getting started, baby. 3 guys bailed out.
After
This
a
is
quick
one.
intermission to secure the screaming
left.
dog chew, the officers quickly set up to track down the next subject.
Did you hear what he said?
To secure the scream.
Listen.
After a quick intermission to secure the screaming dog chew, the officers quickly set up to track down the
This
next
narrator
subject.
is perfect. We need him for our channel.
Yeah, it was Adam. So they're going to secure the screaming dog chew, and now we're back. I don't know if this is the same handler or not. He looks different, but I could be wrong. Regardless, we got 2 more bad guys left. This is what I'm talking about. This is police work here. We're going to catch everybody. We can't have these guys just hiding in people's backyards. This is where horrible home invasions happen. People running from the police, man, they'll break in your house. You're going in your backyard to water your plants, and now you have some scumbag breaking in your house. Not good. So, and it's happened a lot. So we're gonna go ahead and look for bad guy number 2. I think they're like 1 or 2 houses away from where they found bad guy number 1. You think bad guy number 2 for sure was hearing his boy screaming. You probably heard that screaming down the whole block. So I'm pretty confident bad guy number 2 heard it. So let's go find bad guy number 2. And you'll see the same sergeant backing up and the same guy that was getting blood dropped on him. I recognize him because he's got the orange watch. He's in it. They're in for round 2.
Just got bit. You need to give up now. You're under.
I'm going to back it up so you can hear what this officer says. Here's announcements. Again, I don't want you to say nothing about feeling bad for these bad guys. They got plenty of time to give up. They didn't have to run. They didn't have to bail out of the car. And then listen to what this officer says. These are some announcements now. You're not going to hear him mumble his words or whisper.
The screaming dog chew. The officers quickly set up to track down the next subject.
Hey man, if you're hiding over here, your buddy just got bit. You need to give up now. You're under arrest. There he's being searched by a police canine. If you do not come out, the dog will bite you.
Pretty good announcements to me.
Now, the dog's
Very
gonna bite
clear.
you.
Told him exactly what he was going to do.
You're under arrest.
He's not saying.
Your friend. You need to give up. If you do not give up, the dog will bite you.
It's somebody out front.
Fix it. Fix it. Fix it.
He said about 3, 4, maybe 5 times, give up or my dog will bite you. Well, let's find out. And by the way, he's going to give more announcements. Get ready.
Said she heard something underneath the house.
Owner's saying they heard something under the house, or maybe the officer out front heard something under the house. And look at that dog. Shooting under the house. Dogs don't shoot under the house for no reason.
Come out.
That's what happens. It's kind of like fishing. Sometimes you catch a fish, you gotta cast the dog out, and whoop, you got a bite.
Now, have you ever experienced this where you've had a bad guy hide under a house?
Hell yeah, yeah, bro. Always they're hiding in the attic, under the house, in a tree, under a car, for sure. Classic place to hide. In South Florida, we have some of those older homes built like in the 20s, 30s, 40s.
For a second to appreciate the true genius of the criminal mind. Out of all the places to hide, this dumb fuck literally saw a muddy hellhole and thought, you know what? I'm gonna crawl my skinny ass right in there. So now, not only is he caught, but he's muddy as fuck and about to get bit by a police dog.
He just got bit by a police dog. Absolutely, man. These guys will hide all kinds of places. I got a story for you one day. Talk about a guy we found under a house. And how it's a really incredible story. I'm very proud of it. But 3 police dogs couldn't find this guy. I brought my dog out. And we found him.
We already have EMS coming out here for your friends, so stand up. Stand up. 1, 2, 3.
So they bring this guy out front that muddy, man. I'm telling you what I would do.
While this guy thinks about his life choices, let's check back in on his buddy. Maybe he's calmed down by now.
I've already got,
Yeah, look at this guy's commentary. I would have found a garden hose, man. I would have hosed my muddy friend down. You can't take him to jail like that. It's gross.
Hey,
Hose him down.
tell me your name. What's your name?
You broke my arm.
Hey, listen to me. What's your name?
So that's 2 out of 3. We got a third one left.
Y'all help him back out, please. It hurts so bad.
We have EMS coming, okay? EMS is coming for you, okay? What's your?
So far so good. These guys are doing great. Anybody want to know where's that? Baytown? What?
Lewis.
What state is that?
What's your last name, Lewis?
Want to look it up, man?
Ramirez?
Yeah.
I'll look it up where we're going.
What's your birthday?
Nope, not even a little bit. Actions have consequences.
I could have pulled him back,
Okay.
man.
It says Texas. Could be Texas.
Hey, who's your buddy? Who's your buddy at? You don't know? What's his name?
This is actually rewound a little bit. This is before they went and got the second guy. Pretty
I
sure.
got a card.
We'll fast forward just a little bit. Back to the muddy guy. It's gross, man. It's covered in nasty mud. Dog did great, though. Right? Hey, same thing. The dog didn't alert much. The dog just went in under the house to handle business. Which is, some people might say, well, that's not a great thing. We really want these dogs to jump in, handle business, not hesitate. We're not looking for what's called a bark and hold. We're not looking for them to, I think it's revere, or whatever the command is for it, to just get close and bark at the guy. Most agencies are not teaching that. Some are. 99% are teaching find and bite. Find and bite. Because if the guy is armed with a knife or is armed with a gun, we don't want the police dog to get that close to him. And then, by the way, the dog doesn't say like, okay, now put your hands behind your back.
Hey, come stand,
And the
sit
bark
over
and
here next to your
hold
buddy, okay?
is just going to make the guy move. And if you know anything about bark and hold, as soon as the guy moves, the dog is now allowed to engage. So it's going to end up with a bite any which way. His opportunity to give up was everything that led up to this point. So by the time we get to this point, the dog is going to go what we might call hands-on, or in this case, mouth on. No hesitation.
Have a seat right over here.
He even told him, he's like, bro, I know you're under the
Hey,
house.
what's your name? DeAndre?
Held the dog back, and then said, well, I'm not hearing anything. And before the guy could crawl any deeper or go anywhere away, he let the dog go up underneath and handle business. So I don't think there's much more to see about Mr. Muddy Guy here. But now we just go ahead and go to number 3. We have a third guy at large.
Oh my God!
While Dumb and
The
Dumber wait
stories
for
that these-
EMS to get there, the dog manages to track the third offender to a random van. I guess it's better than the mud, but you're still going to jail.
Come out of the van, dude. I can see you. What's the other side?
Remember we talked about these guys will hide places and then come up with the craziest stories. Like they'll say they live in the shed. Or in this case, you'll hear what this guy's excuse is as to why he is in the van.
Where do you live at?
Yeah, I live on Florida Street. I just came by in the morning because I was working all night and I was tired. And I had to stop, take a nap before I go to my
Is this your
dad's.
van?
No.
There's normally the second subject just walked out.
Look, you see the key? See the keys he has in his hand? I wonder if that's for the stolen car.
10322.
He's just like carrying it in front
Yeah,
of him.
yeah, you'd be surprised, man.
Do it.
So they're not sure if this is the third guy or not. They're asking for the primary unit, the one that started the chase, to come over and say whether or not this is the guy that's missing. You know, this guy just happens to be sleeping in a van.
Y'all know him?
I know him, but it's not supposed to be in the van. I get a friend of mine, the van supposed to stay with him in the woods. Nah,
Do you know when
I know him.
you know when he showed up? Or
No, I don't. I've been asleep.
Okay.
I just woke up.
So he knows the guy, but he says, that guy doesn't belong in my van. Here's the primary unit showing up.
Stand up.
Oh, yeah.
Leave your shit. Just stand up. Put your hands on your back.
He already gave the thumbs up, like, yeah, this is the guy.
Stand up.
That's the back passenger. Okay.
Well, actually, front passenger.
But he decided.
Jumped out the back seat. You almost fell.
Well, the thing is,
You actually can see
like
the
I
bailout
said,
coming
they
up
have
here. They're going
ties
to
this
rewind all the
area.
way back.
He said he knows it, but he ain't supposed to be. Go. Go put him in this car.
No dog bite, though, so 2 out of 3. Great job by this police
In
department.
case y'all were curious, here is the dashcam video of the suspects fleeing. I know it's pretty bad quality, but you get the picture. The only one who stayed with the vehicle was the woman. She was also arrested.
All right.
I'm gonna get her out.
All right, I got you.
So you could tell they were definitely on the chase for a while, because as soon as these guys bailed out, you already had a half dozen or more units on scene. That means everybody was in that chase. So they bailed out, and they basically got a perimeter probably set like that. What's a perimeter? That means all the available units are going to surround the blocks, kind of contain them within 1 or 2 block perimeter. So it just looks like fantastic police work all the way around. Excellent job. You can't go wrong with a twofer, baby. It's excellent. We'll go ahead and kill this, and the third one is real juicy, baby. How we doing on time? We're good?
You're good.
All right, we got time for one more. And this one is it's juicy. This is a warrant suspect. Let's pull it up and just see what we can gather from it here. Oh, is this the one? Yeah, let's see. Yep. There's a little preview, and then we'll get into it. But this is a guy with some type of felony warrants, and I'm trying to read the description real quick. Clark County. Anybody know where that is? Let me know where Clark County with a K-E. So the guy has a history of possession and use of firearms. And then you'll see this is actually like an FBI task force going after this guy. We used FBI task force in Miami for homicide suspects, gang members that were wanted. So this is some fugitive task force. So this is not just a rinky-dink crime. This is not a guy that just didn't pay for his parking tickets. I don't know what he's actually wanted for, but some type of felony. And you can tell just by the way these boys are handling themselves, they are very hesitant to go in. Again, it mentioned a history of firearms possession or conviction. So they're assuming this guy's armed. They are very much taking their time. I don't want to give you any more preface than that. Let's just say this is a very high stakes search for this subject. And when we want to talk about, one thing I just want you to pay attention to before we roll this one, how many opportunities did the police need to give you to give up? So we hear a lot about police brutality and like the police were too excessive and they shouldn't use the dog. When I tell you this guy was given 50 to 100 commands to come out, I'm shortchanging you there. So let's do it to it.
They let this dog bite me. Where my mama at, Nisha? I'm not resisting, bro. I'm not resisting.
Loose! Malcolm, come out or you're gonna get bit by the dog.
I think the dog bites the back. I think that's what I just saw. Yeah, there was just a little glimpse.
On December 22nd, 2021, Athens police were on the search for a suspect on an active felony warrant. They found him at his apartment and began to surround the building. He refused to come out, but soon will regret that decision.
They're already sitting out front, Daniel. Let's just knock it. You want me to do it? Yeah.
This is like a felony apprehension team, fugitive warrant team. Very, very dangerous. Police department. Officers get shot and killed.
Athens Clark County Police.
Doing this type of work all the time.
There was talking in the apartment. Athens Clark County Police. Okay. That's fine. Come outside. Just, where is he? Watch out. I'll call. All right. That's fine. You're all right. Malcolm! Come outside. Do it now.
Give me a room.
Malcolm, come out. Do it now. She said he's in there.
Just pay attention to that. She said
he's in there. We've got good containment on the back, and I've got eyes. Bring the dog. We'll bark him out. Malcolm, we're going to put a dog in here. You better come out. Do it now.
Someone keep track of how many times they warned him. They even said bark him out, not bite him out. They're not trying to bite this guy. They want this guy to give up peacefully. That's where everybody gets it wrong. We're not out there to just bite everybody we come across. It's a lot of paperwork, y'all.
Malcolm, we know you're in here. Come out. Do it now.
And beyond the paperwork, it's never fun to get, have to go hands-on with a subject.
Got it.
Because you don't get out unscathed either. We're talking about broken bones and cuts and scrapes and twisted knees
Malcolm,
and injuries that will stay with you for life.
Send a dog in. Malcolm, you have warrants, dude. Come on out. Do it now. I hear movement. Yeah.
Dude, I can't.
I got you, man. I mean, they're not doing me any good. I'm covering this.
Is the dog coming around the opposite
He's trying to hide.
Or?
The dog is not in the building yet. They've requested for the dog.
Hurry up.
Sometimes they keep the dog outside because what do these guys typically do? Bust right out the window. Second, third floor. It looks like at least a two-story setup here. But these guys will jump out of 3, 4, 5-story apartments and take off running. So the canine guy's right here. He can't get in. This guy lets him in, which is also very dangerous. Imagine these guys are fighting with the guy right now. How are you going to get in that building? Typically, we should be propping that door open. So he doesn't even know where he's going.
Do it now. Do it now.
And I got one special for you.
Cover that.
This is a female dog. So it's different. You rarely see that. They exist. But man, 1 out of 100, 1 out of 1,000.
Malcolm, come to the
Very
door.
rare to find a female dog capable of handling the work. And we're going to find out if this dog's capable of handling the work. I have not seen this full video. I've seen it up to about halfway through. And then I thought I'd save the rest for you all.
She looked to be in her mid-20s and per the caller.
You want me to get on the other side?
See that FBI task force?
Yeah. Police with a canine! If you're in there, you're gonna get bit!
Let your presence be known.
Athens police with a canine! Come out or you're gonna get bit by a dog! Loud! Watch him!
He's asking for the dog to bark.
Come out.
Those are great commands. Have the dog be quiet so you can deliver the commands loud enough so that they can be heard. And then let them know you're not bluffing. Let the dog bark and say, we actually have a dog. Problem is that some of those Malinois, especially this one, it's not the most ferocious sounding bark. No, like, woof. It's usually kind of yippy and high pitched. But if you knew it was a Malinois, man, you got, woo. You just don't play games with it. It's got like, looks like a 30-foot line. And again, he's going to make a decision whether he deploys this dog on leash or off leash.
If he deploys, is he going to go in with the dog or is the dog going in?
In this case, man, they think this guy's armed.
Let us know. The dog will
Why do they have
bite
the
you and
shield,
she's
you
gonna
know?
bite
So
you.
no.
Loud.
Say she's going to bite you. More commands.
Malcolm, come out or you're going to get bit by the dog. Loud.
How many more commands do they have to give, Spider?
Still.
Now he's given the command to go handle business. In this case, this is what we call pause before boots. This handler's doing a fantastic job of working that leash. Fantastic.
We're going to be able to pull him out on their bite.
Velma, here.
She did not clear the room.
So the handler can't really see too much of what the dog's doing, but his cover officer there with the shield is doing a great job of saying, hey, she only made it about this far. There's a room back there that I see, and she hasn't quite made it there. In other words, her nose and her eyes have not cleared every part of this apartment, and they were going back and forth whether this is a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment.
Someone's asking me in the comments, don't they have heat sensing devices?
No, that's not something, yes, they do exist.
That's more military?
Some of our tactical teams, some of our SWAT officers will have heat, like FLIR, right? We had FLIR in our K9 unit, but it's line of sight. It will not see through walls. So that's really only good, like say at night, or looking through thick shrubbery. You could see something hot glowing through the leaves. But if the guys say like hiding behind the couch, that FLIR is not going to show you much of anything. It's not going to show you anything. If he's behind a door, the FLIR won't show you anything. There are some other stuff that I can't talk about that does exist, but it's only this very well-funded SWAT teams have it. And really all that will do is kind of confirm or deny if someone is behind a wall, but it won't tell you like how many people or if they have a gun. It'll just kind of give you confirmation that there is, it might not even tell you there's a human. It's going to say there's a dog, there's something there. It's picking up on sign of life. If it was that easy, man, yeah, you just point like a little camera and like, oh, I see him. There's no x-ray machines. More and more announcements. We probably have 30 or 40 announcements by now.
View of this living room. Do you want to just cast one more time, let her just check the living room area? Maybe check just. I don't think she did not go all the way into the bedroom. I watched her. I can see her tail. She's not clearing.
I think we're so far back from it.
You want to push up a little bit? Yeah, I mean, I think we can hold up to
So
the
they've
bedroom.
gone as far as they could with the dog because of the limitations of the leash. I would like to have seen them deploy the dog off leash to let the dog go a little deeper, because that's their concern is that, and we'll pause here. There's that doorway in the back right, and he knows that the dog only put basically its head into that back bedroom. It didn't have enough leash to keep going. You could hook up a second leash, but man, it gets real clunky. 30-foot of leash is hard enough to work. It gets caught up on furniture, and you're trying to be safe and tactical, and then your dog gets hung up on the dining room table. And then the dogs aren't great at unraveling themselves. So now you got to remove yourself from behind cover to go fetch your dog. So, but what's nice about the leash, once again, is if they did make contact, they'd be able to pull the dog out, and hopefully the dog is attached to the bad guy and pull everybody out together. Or if anything froggy happened, you could get the dog back. You have more control with the leash. But again, sometimes the leash becomes a hindrance. But this team is doing excellent work. No rush. Great communication. Using all their tools. I think they mentioned going to get a drone. I thought I heard him say it. You know, things are getting fancy now where they have drones that can... When I left, we were just starting to use drones that you could use outside. Now we got the capability of using drones inside and give you kind of that first-person view. And it's just tricky flying them into those tight quarters and hopefully don't hit a wall because that drone's getting taken out. Anyhow, we got the dog. I'll take a dog over a drone pretty much any day for most applications. Let's continue. These guys are just slowly but surely moving up. And giving this guy, how many times do I have to tell him to give up? Any questions, ask, because it's still a little bit of a slow build, but I promise you it's worth it, because it gets real interesting here in a minute. So before they push up into that bedroom, they're very interested in that bedroom. But before they do that, someone gave the call like, look, let's not turn our back on this kitchen. You'd be surprised, man. People will hide in the refrigerator. I've seen people hide in the washing machine, the dryer, freezers, cupboards, behind the couch, in the couch. Didn't know you could get in a couch. They get in the couch. So they're feeling pretty good up to this point.
Malcolm, do it now. You see him?
This last kind of bedroom is where
Police with a canine.
has not been cleared yet.
That closet. Maybe that's what we were
Stellan.
Yet again, more announcements. You see him working that leash in and out.
Malcolm, dude,
You see her head kicking up a bit.
come out. We don't want you to get bit, man. You're gonna get bit.
Sometimes there can be so much odor. There's a name for it. I always forget what it's called, but it's like, you ever smell something so strong you can't even pinpoint where it's coming from? It's kind of the same thought. It's like that room could potentially just be overwhelmed with odor, and the dog's having a hard time pinpointing exactly where it's coming from, because it's just, the whole room's painted with it. Now she pees. When you gotta go, you gotta go.
There's a couple flags on her. Are you clear for them?
Or pooping.
Can you check? Hey, can you clear from there? Scott, your angle just clear me.
It happens. They get excited. It's an animal.
About the bathroom and behind the bed. I mean, she ran all around there.
Not currently barred from the mall or any of the stores area.
The box spring is sagging really low on the under the mattress, like you might be in the box.
So the canine handler's down low, looking under the bed. Another classic place where they like to hide.
The foot of the bed versus the head of the bed.
He's saying the foot of the bed, the box spring is laying low. He's basically saying he thinks the bad guy might be between the mattress and the box spring, because there's a lot of sag there. And it's a classic place for bad guys to hide. Again, any questions, let me know.
No, someone said the dog gave her opinion on the suspect. Alex actually called them a shithead.
There you go, man.
If we got a,
This is my perfect point. You see how she pooped right there? If you just left it there and came in, you might hit that apartment and the whole apartment would smell like poop. You'd be like, where is it? You'd have to look around visually to find it, because it's just going to smell like poop in that whole apartment. Same thing. We got a bad guy hiding in that apartment. To the dog, it's like, he smells it everywhere. So now they're trying to send her in again to detail, and she's starting to detail on a closet that's just to the left. Dog's not super intense, at least not yet. I'm not saying bad or good. If it was that first dog, remember that first dog that went in the shed and was biting everything?
Yeah.
That dog would be destroying everything in that room, biting the carpet, biting the mattress, ripping off the sheets, and giving you half a heart attack, because every time it goes in to bite something, you're like, oh, it's the guy.
And now this situation to me is more like, hey, let's kind of track and hunt this perp out. But like these confrontation dogs that are really meant to like catch and bite, are they trained to kind of scent these dogs out to an extent?
I can try.
You lost me there. I don't know what you're asking. What?
Like, are these dogs, the canine dogs, depending on the county, are they trained to really like sniff them out and search for them, like to an extent?
They're trained to pinpoint what they call source of the odor. If that's if he's hiding under the bed, the dog should, to its best of its ability, indicate that the guy's hiding in the bed.
Yeah.
If he's behind that door, to the best of that dog's ability, it should indicate that the suspect's hiding behind the door. But there are some weird things that happen with odor. One thing we call chimney effect, where the guy could be hiding on one side of a room or even like a warehouse. And remember, what do you think the temperature is of any given apartment, right? Like, you got the air conditioning on. It's, let's just say 70 degrees. Well, if our body temperature is 98 degrees and or we're running from the police and we're hot and our adrenaline's pumping, our body temperature can rise a little bit. And so the actual odor and basically the sweat that's evaporating off of your body, even your breath, is hotter than the surrounding air temperature, which means hot air does what? Rises. And when it rises, it'll hit the ceiling and then float.
Spread out.
Yeah, it'll spread, it'll float, it will cool off and then drop. Because when it hits, once it cools off, it'll go back down. And so odor does weird things, it pools. So chimney effect is when basically bad guy could be hiding in that corner, you don't see him, his odor goes up, travels across the ceiling and drops in the opposite corner. And so your dog, and it happens a lot, and we put these training scenarios to the test, but the dog will be alerting and full-on barking at the corner. And you're like, what are you barking at? There's nothing here. What do we say? Trust your dog. Your dog is not barking at the corner for no reason. They've learned to trust their nose. And the dog's saying is that the most odor it can find right now is pooling in this corner. Well, that's when you have to be the thinking part of the team and go, okay, if it's barking in this corner, yo, the bad guy's in that corner. So you have to know where the wind's blowing, how the odor is moving in that outside, even in, there's airflow, always airflow. Air is always moving. So again, that's how you could walk in your front door and smell someone cooking in the kitchen because the odor moved out. That's how you could walk down an apartment. You ever walk through an apartment and you can, as you're passing by different doors, you can actually smell what they're cooking in each door, you know, if they're cooking. It's emanating, it's coming through the cracks. So, same thing. When we watch it again, I think this is going to, did I answer your question a little?
Yeah.
Now, watch now as more odor is pooling in the location where the suspect's hiding. Now, they've already indicated they're concerned about the bed, but they're also concerned about this closet. Not the one that you see open right here, but that actually backs up through drywall to another closet, meaning through the main door of this bedroom, hard left, there's a closet door there, and that's freaking them out a little bit. You'll even hear them say, like, man, be careful if he shoots through the wall or shoots through the door, stay behind the shield. And you see these guys, like, they want to come up and help, but they also back out, like, man, all this guy has to do is crank some rounds. And we've seen them. There's a video out very recent. We're going to get it on the channel. These guys have full auto, right? Illegally converted full auto guns, and it's just scary. So let's keep watching and see what happens.
Watch. If you're in here, let us know, Malcolm. You're going to get bit. No. Still.
Watch the dog now. It's for the first time ever really sniffed under that door, sniffed the seam of that door.
Welfare check, North Avenue, 5th Street. The male laying on the sidewalk with his feet.
Now it's scratching. That's a full alert. She's saying he's here. She even wants to come in. That odor could be coming basically through the drywall, through cracks, up, dropping down.
Just come out slowly. We don't want to hurt you.
Malcolm Martin, Athens Clark County Police Department. You flex the door doing that. Do it again. Nice. Do it again.
Lights on.
Punch some holes in just be careful. I don't want him to shoot at you through there, or at least if he's going to take shots, he's going to do it through the shield. He could be up in the ceiling in there, or he could be... Hey, Dana, bring in the broom. We're good. It's breached. We just need to push it. Stay behind Moss, and I'll block.
Really taking their time, using this tool to get that door open without having to go in there and expose themselves.
There you go.
I'm telling you, we're at around 75 plus commands for this guy to come out.
I can't tell if there's an attic or not.
So what happens next, don't feel bad for him. He had every opportunity.
I'll pull her back. See you in there? Okay.
Now the trick is not to step in the dog poop.
Moss.
You go, Henry.
Yeah, he may have gone up. Come out!
Very scary.
Stellan!
Come out!
Stellan!
Come out!
Stellan!
I can't see him, dude. I can't see his hands.
Show me your hands! Show me your hands! Get them both up! Get them both up! Get them up!
Good girl! Good girl! Good girl! Good girl!
Stand up!
Get out!
Come out! Stand up!
Good girl! Let go of your hand!
Hands behind your back!
Now you know why she's a police dog. I mean, she's a little slow to get started. I'd like to have seen her get in there and pile drive that guy, but I think she was confused herself. She's like, what am I biting here? That boy was covered in all kinds of clothes.
We cannot see your hands. Miss, y'all see me, bro. Shut up. Shut your mouth. No, I'm not shutting up. Lisa! That was all on you, man. No, it wasn't all on me. Y'all was not supposed to reach that stuff. Bro, I don't bro. I don't have nothing.
Now the mouth.
Quit reaching. I'm not reaching for now. How the hell I'm reaching for something I got handcuffed on?
I'd like to rewind back just to that last part. I know it's juicy for y'all. How it goes down.
Yeah, he may have gone up.
If it was that first dog, it would just pile drive. Probably bit the clothes and not bit the guy. She's trying to get in there. She's trying to get something.
Show me your hands. Show me your hands. Get them both up. Get them both up. Get them up. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl.
With that Malinois shake, man. That's what we call them, land sharks. Pretty feisty, huh?
That was an excellent bite and hold. I mean, especially when she brought him down to the ground.
Yeah. See, if I was there, I'd have probably pulled him 2 feet to the left so he could land right in the poop. I said, come over this way. And then this boy is just shit talker galore.
I like how that cop has his legs spread as wide as possible to avoid the spot beneath him.
Yeah, he's doing good. No one stepped in it, man. They're doing great. That's what we call tactical now. Tactical.
Shut up. Shut your mouth. No, I'm not setting up.
Already with the mouth, man. The worst. They got him, though. And they got him safe. They took their time. And they only gave this guy literally 75 plus opportunities to come out. And this is the exact kind of guy that will file a lawsuit and say that the police brutality. He's already talking smack now, saying that they didn't do their job right.
They seen me. They could have got me.
You hear him? They seen me. They could have got me. He's saying they saw me. Yeah, literally 2 seconds before the dog actually bit him, you saw the guy say, hey, man, I see you. Show me your hands. But you know what they didn't see? They didn't see his hands. His hands are all covered by clothes. And I'm sorry, bro. It's a little late at that point. We need to get physical control over you. And what do you... They see me. They literally said, come out of the closet.
After like 7 minutes of hiding, now he wants to say, oh, they see me.
Yeah, they see me. Yeah, and it's more like 15 minutes of hiding, and I think this is fast forward just a little bit to get to that point, but come on, man. Yeah, you can't say that now. It's too late, bro. It's too late. But the mouth's going to keep going. But I'm only going to keep playing this because I think the backup gets bit. So let's watch that, and then we'll close it out. But thank you all for watching up to this point. Just a friendly reminder, you're on that second channel. Make sure you subscribe to the second channel. Tell everybody about it and watch our podcast. This is exactly the type of stuff. This is real deployments that coincide with a lot of the podcasts we're talking about, specifically the John Peters podcast we just did earlier this week. We dropped it, and John Peters talks about exactly these types of deployments and the type of legal responsibilities these types of teams have, that they have to not only keep themselves safe, but they have to follow the letter of the law, because if they do anything wrong, they're going to get their asses sued in court. They're going to lose their job. They're going to lose their house. And yes, of course, they can absolutely go to jail themselves if they don't do everything perfectly. So let's continue to watch. I think these officers, man, did they do a good job or what? Professionals doing this stuff day in and day out. Dog did its job. You know, I am Mr. Critique. What do I have to critique, bro? I got nothing.
Yeah, this one was real clean, through and through.
Beautiful job. And even though they did everything perfect, we still got to deal with the mouth. And even though they did everything perfect, if this guy really, really wanted to put up a fight, it still would have been a damn ugly day in there if it turned into a firefight. Even with all the tools, and you know, those bullets don't stop through drywall. It could have been real ugly. But these guys kept their cool, took their time. 1,000 bonus points.
I need a lieutenant, somebody.
Oh, he wants a lieutenant. Lieutenant right here. What's up, Thanos Cam? He's hearing the commotion. Says, let me check it out.
No, you weren't supposed to let that dog bite me. Y'all egged that dog when you bite me.
Says you weren't supposed to let the dog bite you.
Hey, I need a big cool lieutenant.
At the bottom of these stairs, bro, I think this dog bites the backup. Where's my mama? Come on,
I'm not resisting. I'm not resisting, bro. I'm not resisting.
Loose!
I'm not. Sir, officer,
I got it.
Officer, please. I'm not resisting. He got me.
You can look at his face. He's looking at the cup like, are you serious, bro?
You gotta live it, bro. You gotta live. What are you doing? Thomas is pressing buttons over here. Get out of here, man. I'm trying to watch the show. I gotta rewind back. He's fast forwarded too much. I thought I caught that glimpse. Look.
I'm not. Sir, officer.
I got it.
I don't think he just got the pants. This guy kept his cool though, didn't he?
Yeah, he knew exactly what to do. I think too, like, him being trained, he said, let me not move, so hopefully the dog.
Yeah, that's why we call it hot dog. We call it hot dog. She wasn't finished. You understand? And now that officer who's now been dealing hands-on with the suspect is painted in his odor, right? She is what we call equal opportunity opportunist. This dog is going to bite whatever, wherever, whenever. Now that it's in this full drive and she's seeing red, for lack of a better word, she just did not have enough now, did she? So took it out on the backup there. Let's just finish this out and see. This dog right now, right after this, I'll be driving over to the local burger joint and she'll be getting Royale with cheese, man. She'll be getting whatever she wants.
They was not supposed to let this dog bite me. Car? Sir, I need a lieutenant. They was not supposed to let no record.
Usually they ask for a sergeant, man. I think he wants a lieutenant.
Record it. Y'all weren't supposed to let that dog bite me. Yeah, okay. I know what's going on. Hey, Kroger. I know what's going on. I know what's going on.
He knows what's going on, man.
And I'm supposed to get medical help right now. The ambulance.
And I'm just letting you know because it's going to seem ridiculous to anybody that's watching this.
Kroger.
If anyone has a problem about dog bite, do not watch this channel. Like, I don't want you to watch this channel.
I did come out the house, but they let this dog bite me. They egged this dog on to bite me. Hit my lawyer. And then
I was just going to say, this is the type of guy who's going to try to sue the police department and all the officers on scene, including the K9 handler, for a civil rights violation. And they will absolutely let that case go. Watch out, buddy. He's going to knock over the camera. Come here, Bubba.
Buckling you in so you got your elbow all on me, you bending my finger, all that.
All right, lay down. Lay down, Bubba.
Hey.
This is what's the sad part of this job. Anyone can sue for anything. They don't throw out frivolous lawsuits. They will take the lawsuit and it will go through the court system.
Oh, yeah.
No matter how perfect of a job they did. Now, if they're still recording, man, they're going to find a gun. That's the only reason they would come back.
Do you want this?
Oh, they're picking up the poop. They're picking up the poop. See, they're nice. They went in, they picked up the poop. I like this sergeant.
Custody for his warrants and obstruction. He was medically cleared for his injuries. What do you think about this incident? Comment below.
I'll tell you what I think about it. What was that now?
No, I was asking
I'm gonna
if you
close
wanted the
this out.
laptop on screen. I had it there.
If you enjoyed the video, leave a like.
That's my
subscribe for
concern.
more.
You know, a lot of times these videos get chopped down, or if you were to roll up and just see this guy has a dog bite and all the mouthing off and all that, you're like, oh, the police obviously did something. No, these police officers did everything above and beyond. They didn't just do their job. They went above and beyond and gave this guy every single opportunity to give up. What else do you want? And that's why I get so frustrated. Call my lawyer. And the lawyer will take the case because they only see those dollar bills. And then they're going to, now this officer probably got sued. Why not? And you would say he didn't do anything wrong. Yeah, it doesn't matter. You can get sued for anything. And so they go through the lawsuit, and then he has to deal with that stress. And it really, and that's what John Peters talks about in that podcast. It depends what judge you get as to how that lawsuit plays out, because there's going to be some judges out there that watch that and will somehow come up with the idea that, yeah, you know, maybe they left the dog on a little too long. Didn't they? You know, they heard him screaming. The dog was, quote, mauling him. I listened to one the other day where the judges were discussing how the dog was maybe left on a little too long. And did the dog really need to bite him hiding in the closet? Couldn't the dog have just barked him out? Well, I don't know. The dog was barking. He wouldn't come out. They gave 100 commands. The guy wouldn't come out. The dog was literally sitting in there with him. Didn't bite him. Wouldn't come out. Wouldn't make himself known. It's only when the dog bit him that we safely got this guy out. Got control of at least one hand. Just classic. I keep looking at Thomas here and ripping wires out. So that's the name of the game, folks. Post in the comments below. Maybe I'm an asshole. Maybe I've been in police work too long and I'm a little jaded. And but I will call a spade when it's time. If the officers mess up, go ahead and check out some of my previous breakdown videos. If an officer goofs up, we're gonna make it be known. But these officers did perfect, and that's what's so frustrating is no matter how perfect a job you do, always somebody out there painting a picture that you know, every single officer on the planet is abusing their powers. And anyway, I'm not trying to make it a political discussion, but these officers couldn't have. The only thing they could have done to be a little sweeter, Spider, is give them a fucking lollipop after they bit them. Here you go, right? A little pacifier. Maybe you'd shut up. All right, that's it, folks. Thanks so much for watching. Like, share, subscribe. See you on the next video.